Hello and welcome everybody to a new type of video on my channel. If you're like me, you somewhat recently picked up Call of Dragons. I personally was sponsored a few months ago and figured I was just going to uninstall it after my sponsorship was over. Boy was I wrong. There are a lot of things that make this game great, but also a lot of things that I wish I knew before I was starting out. So let me give you a few tips, so you don't make the same mistakes I do. Tip number 1, use your boosters. The game gives these out like candy on Halloween, so you should be using them as often as possible. It only serves to benefit you to use them. You get more resources for the next 8 or 24 hours from the production in your city, just for using them. It's literally free stuff. Resources enable you to do everything in your city. Build up your buildings, upgrade those buildings, and train your troops, or upgrade those troops. So keep that in mind. Tip number 2, send out your troops for resources before you log off. Speaking of resources, you'll notice there are these big mines or camps all over the map. Before you log off for the day, or just at any point, send out your troops to get those resources. Like I said before, resources are used for literally everything, so go and get them. There are also specific heroes that specialize in gathering. If you level certain skills, they will gain XP from gathering resources, allowing them to better gather resources. Tip number 3, spend your CP. CP is what is used to attack darklings or dwarves with your heroes. Defeating these legions will give your heroes XP, which levels them up, making them stronger, which allows them to get access to more abilities and more troops to join them, eventually awakening them once all their abilities are max level. CP regenerates over time, so you might as well use it. It sitting at max for the entire day really is not useful to you. Use the resources you have. Level up those heroes. Speaking of troops, make sure you're always training troops. If your troop camps aren't training troops, they should be. There is never a reason for them not to be training or upgrading troops. However, once you get a higher level troop, for example, getting the tier 2 troops, you should upgrade your tier 1 troops to tier 2 troops. It makes them stronger and makes your legion stronger by comparison, making it easier to defeat darklings, dwarves, and behemoths, or to win PvP. Tip number 5, keep your buildings leveled. Keeping your buildings leveled relative to your city is important because you don't want to be like me and want to upgrade your city to level 24 and find out your level 7 Wyvern Rider camp needs to be level 23 for you to upgrade your city hall. Trust me, just keep your buildings around the level of your city hall so you don't run into this situation. It's unfun to sit around and wait for one camp to be upgraded all the way to level 23 so you can upgrade your city hall. Tip number 6, leave your longer upgrades for longer breaks. Unfun waits are in fact unfun. When you have a 6+ hour wait for something, I'd start it before you go to work or before you go to bed, so that when you get back to the game, it will be done. It's pretty simple. Waiting for stuff is unfun, so do it while you're not waiting. You don't have to be logged onto the game for the progress to go through. The time is stagnant, regardless of whether or not you are in the game. Tip number 7, buy yourself the second builder's queue. This is not me advertising for you to spend money on the game, because you don't have to. Save up the gems you get from getting achievements, finding notes, completing your map, etc. The game literally gives you this stuff for free. The 5,000 gems you spend is the most worth gems you will spend for the entire time you're playing this game. Trust me. Having 2 builders queues is amazing, and not having 2 builders queues comparatively is so awful. Makes everything take so much longer. Tip number 8, keep up with your scouting post. After a certain point, you will get a scouting post, and you will unlock auto scouting. At first, you'll have no problem, but then you'll have 2 scouts, and then you'll have 3 scouts. Then the queue builds up, and you literally just get free stuff for interacting with everything here, except for the trading camps. Even then, though, you get good deals on things. These lists can build up, and suddenly you have to go through 50+ villages. And while the villages have some interesting interactions and dialogues, it's not the most fun to sit and scroll through 50+ things. Trust me on this. Keep up with your scouting post. Tip number 9, check your codex and achievements. Both of these give you free gems. Each individual one isn't much, only 5, 10, maybe 15. However, it is literally free stuff. Plus, the codex gives you information on the game, its creatures, and some lore, which is pretty cool. Tip number 10, join an alliance. Once you're able to join an alliance, join one. Most of them are open and others you have to apply, but are usually very accepting. Alliances give you so many things. They help you build and research faster. They literally give you free stuff. They give you protection in numbers. They allow you to take on behemoths. Plus, you can make new friends. The auto-translation feature is really good, and my current alliance is predominantly Russian, but I can understand them because of a few English speakers and of this translation feature. It's actually kind of incredible that a lot of programs don't have something like this integrated into them, whereas a silly little mobile game does. Wild stuff. Tip 11 bonus here for you. You could train heroes with different troop types than they prefer, with very little penalty. For example, I pair Emerus with archers, despite the fact that he prefers cavalry. He loses access to one of his abilities, but because I'm not using him for that ability, I'm just trying to level him up. The troops still do all the damage they need to do under a hero who's proficient with archers. There's no drawback for the troops for heroes to be paired with them that don't have proficiency with those troops. Anyway, appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed it. New type of content on my channel, but, you know, wanted to try it out, and hopefully you enjoy. Otherwise, peace.